What is up everyone, it's Saber here and welcome to another Naruto What If you end up liking the video, please consider subscribing. It's free and you can take it back at any time and it really helps me out, and this is my main channel, so if you're interested in what if Naruto had Madara and the Kyuubi sealed inside of him, or what if Naruto was Ice Guide to Game of Thrones, go check out my main channel. And if you're interested in what if Naruto was taken over by the Kyuubi when he was born, or what if Naruto was trained by Itachi after leaving Jiraiya, go check out my second channel. And with all of the YouTube formalities out of the way, let's get into it. Naruto walked in Pain's quarters where Konan and Pain were resting after the latest Biju was sealed away in the Geto Mazo. It took 2 days to extract the Nibi no Nakomata from Yujitoni. The Kunoichi from Kumo died in the process, but Pain kept his promise and revived her as soon as they were done. What is it now, Naruto? Konan asked while Pain wasn't even there. Yahiko's body was immobile, resting on the raised metal bed. Naruto could sense it was covered with seals, probably meant to maintain the corpse so it wouldn't rot away, while Nagato was busy elsewhere. Soon it will be the time to heal Uchiha Itachi to restore him to full health. He has agreed to fight his brother and take his eyes. Why, he's a spy, is he not? Konan asked, feeling a little wary of the young man in front of her. He reminded her too much of Madara sometimes. Yes, he is, but I managed to convince him that his brother would surely fight against us and get himself killed in the process. If he took his eyes, Sasuke would remain effectively useless and would have to stay away from battles to come. Interesting, but Itachi-san is stronger than his brother even now, Konan stated with conviction. Oh, I have to express my doubts as to that. Itachi is better than Sasuke, but he is very sick. He's taking strong drugs to hide his condition, but it's true, I can sense it in his chakra. I see. That doesn't change the fact he can win and die doing us a favor anyway. Naruto shrugged. I'd agree normally, but there's one little problem: we can't leave unattended. What problem? Konan asked, narrowing her eyes. Orochimaru, he is still inside Sasuke, waiting for his chance to emerge and take over. I suspect none of us would particularly like that man to gain the Sharingan. You are well informed, Konan said, obviously suspicious. Let's just say that I still have some sources from Jiraiya Sensei's network. They are of course unaware he's been compromised. Naruto smiled smugly. Konan could question that as much as she could, but there was no effective way to check his statement. Jiraiya certainly could only confirm the possibility of that being true. Very well, I will ask Pain to do as you suggested, but what will we do when Itachi gains even stronger eyes? He might become more powerful than Madara. Even no worries, I will make sure he dies as soon as he tries something. I am the Seal Master too. Itachi will need someone to help him with the transplantation. Most likely you will plant a few seals on him in secret while he's under narcosis. They will be absolutely inactive until the time is right. Naruto spoke immediately, showing he had thought things through. That is acceptable. Now leave. I wish to rest a little. It's been tiring during these last days. Of course. Naruto nodded and walked out. He was quite satisfied with how things went so far. Only a little while and his dream would be realized. Still, as he walked, he got curious about the fellow ex-Jinchuriki who were imprisoned in a single chakra suppressing cell. Also, each ex-Jinchuriki was tagged with killing seals designed to go off as soon as they tried to leave the cell. Welcome to the Iron Country, Hokage Dano, said the man with a long face, short beard and serious eyes, whose head was covered with bandages. He had 2 samurai guards. That was to be expected because he was Mifune, the leader of the samurai and the leader of the Iron Country. The Iron Country was a remote place covered in snows most of the time and boasted the status of neutrality for many years now, which is why it was chosen as the meeting ground for the 5 Kage Summit. I thank you for your hospitality. Mifune. Dano Tsunade gave a respectful nod as was proper. She gestured at her companions. These are my trusted ninja, Hataki Kakashi and Madogai, the legendary copy ninja, and Konoha's green beast. You have worthy companions, Mifune said with respectful nods towards 2 men flanking the busty Hokage. Please come inside. The other Kage are already here. They followed the aged leader inside, and all 3 felt relief to be again in a warm place. They may be trained to suffer cold stoically, but it was unpleasant. The group slowly meandered through cavernous insides of the fortress, always aware of samurai guards and the fact they were just 3 against many. The meeting room was very simple, just a circular chamber with banners for each country and village hanging on the walls, while the Kage and their guards were seated at the long U-shaped table, with Mifune's place in between the tips as a mediator. Finally the meeting can begin. Rakage grumbled thunderously, his bad mood palpable by the fact he was constantly leaking a small dose of killing intent. His name was A and he was viewed as the fastest ninja alive, and he was pissed because his brother Killer B was the host to the Hachibi and kidnapped by the Akatsuki. Indeed, this meeting shall start as of now. I am Mifune and I will be the mediator for this council. The problem we face is this: the criminal group known as the Akatsuki has kidnapped the Jinchuriki of each hidden village, and for yet unknown purposes you are here to decide how to deal with that threat. What is the latest information about that group of bastards? A demanded not subtly. He was looking at Tsunade with suspicious eyes. Tsunade steeled herself for what she was about to say would dash everyone's hopes for victory. The last contact we had with them was when one of their number tried to murder Uchiha Sasuke. He failed, but let something slip. The Akatsuki has captured Uzumaki. Naruto and Jiraiya would have bellowed, slamming his fists on the wooden surface of the conference table. How come we hear this just now? I was busy cleaning up some traitors in my forces, so forgive me for being incommunicado. Tsunade replied with slight sneer, casually folding her palms under her chin. Internal security was paramount at the time, but I'm sure each village has found a way to discover this anyway. I simply refuse to come to this meeting with compromised defenses. I know that you would do the same. All of you have. What a mess. Sandaime Tsuchikage piped up with dry laugh. He was a dwarf of a man, small and rotund and very old, the oldest and maybe the craftiest ninja in the room. He wasn't called Inoki the fence sitter for being honest or loyal. All of us have been stricken by this renegade organization, our Jinchuriki stolen and killed for their beasts, our villages filled with spies and whatnot. Tsuchikage paused as he looked at each Kage. In turn, I also see that some villages have been stricken even harder than others. I was led to believe that the fifth Mizukage was a beautiful redhead, not a man. The Mizukage shifted uncomfortably under the stares of his equals, showing how new to his rank he was. That was true until a few days ago. Our Godame has fallen in battle against the Akatsuki. We lost several elite teams of hunter ninja as well. They took Sanbai that day. I believe that Hokage Dano has that information as well, since her ANBU were silently watching our ninja attempt to seal Sanbai and a new host. That's true. The idea was a good strategy to buy time against the Akatsuki. Unfortunately, they knew it too. Uchiha Itachi was too powerful for my men, and we believe he used his dojutsu to control the Biju. His partner kept the Kiri group off his back. Tsunade said calmly. The Mizukage eyed Tsunade with open surprise, and everyone noticed it. Tsunade frowned. You seem surprised about my words, Mizukage Dano. You are not mistaken, Hokage Dano. I was surprised that you would be unaware of the identity of the other Akatsuki member who murdered my predecessor and her escort. Tsunade scowled. Why would I know that person? Because our only survivor identified him as no one else but Uzumaki. Naruto. Impossible, Tsunade yelled, releasing her killing intent. Making Mizukage's guard move to protect their leader. Kakashi had moved as well, unveiling his Sharingan while Guy uncrossed his muscled arms and stood ready to fight. Stop this nonsense, Mifune said in sharp voice, slamming his palm on the table, which produced a powerful noise. Tsunade stopped producing menacing aura and reclined in her seat. Mizukage's guards retreated behind their leader Kakashi, and Guy did the same, but Kakashi didn't cover his dojutsu again. Kakashi, stand down, Tsunade ordered to the gray-haired ninja. Kakashi complied, albeit with a great reluctance. She eyed the other men and women in the room. Forgive us, we have been greatly surprised by this revelation. So you admit that there might be some truth in Mizukage's statement? Mifune asked. Tsunade closed her eyes in shame. Mifune sighed. This is worse than we thought, my esteemed guests. This organization seems to have sank its teeth into every place and rank of your villages. You mean Konoha, don't you? Mifune Dano. Tsuchikage sneered from his seat. Konoha has lost some of its best ninja to that group, more than most villages. As snorted derisively. Only Kumo is clean in this. All of you have used that group and ended up used by them in turn. I trust no one at this point. It couldn't be helped. Reikage Dano. The fifth Kazakage was Baki, the former Jounin of Suna, now their Kazakage. He was a tall, muscular man with half of his face hidden by a sheet hanging of his turban-like headgear. Our villages were facing severe restrictions in budget and military support of our daimyo, so we had to turn to other options. That is irrelevant to our discussion, gentlemen. We must determine a common goal and how to achieve it together. We are all in this together. I hope you understand this. Mifune spoke as a voice of reason, which was his job. It was hard. Shinobi were by nature and history very distrustful types. Let us take a short break before continuing our discussion. The tensions are high from what I see. Maybe we can cool down and talk this out with reason. I agree, we have heard some things that are very unsettling. Tsunade voiced her opinion, and the other ninja leaders quickly agreed. God's damn that brat. Tsunade seethed as she was alone with Kakashi and Guy, her fury visible to them so much that they literally sweated with fear. Her monstrous strength was the stuff of legends, even more so when she used chakra to augment it. Her chakra was restrained, but barely. She wasn't going to lose face in front of her peers. Hokage-sama. Perhaps the Mizukage was lying or was deceived by the Akatsuki. Guy tried to be helpful. No, he wasn't lying. I have had suspicions about Naruto, as did Jiraiya. Why do you think I sent him with that perverted moron? Kakashi answered for Guy with a heavy sigh. You wanted him supervised closely, and who better than Jiraiya-sama? Part of Kakashi felt terrible that his own student would betray Konoha. Don't blame yourself, Kakashi. There wasn't anything you could have done, Tsunade said Frowning heavily. What do you mean, Hokage-sama? Guy asked, being unusually subdued. He thought that Naruto was very unyouthful. I believe Naruto was never loyal in the first place, so he must have been biding his time before running away. Tsunade reasoned aloud. He'd have run even earlier, I believe, except for one thing. The chance to study under Jiraiya-sama was a great opportunity, Kakashi realized suddenly. But I still don't get why would he join the very group that was trying to kill him. Because they offered to spare his worthless ass. That's why. Tsunade snarled. Those thrice damned bastards must have found a way to extract tailed beasts without killing their hosts, and once freed of his or hers burden, they are still shinobi with formidable power levels and skills, and Naruto was Jiraiya's student for 3 years. I'm sure they were happy to have him. That is bad. He is very dangerous now, even without Kyuubi. I actually can't remember if he had ever resorted to that thing's power. Kakashi spoke with worried tone. Indeed, Guy agreed. Hokage-sama, what will you do? The other villages aren't so trusting of us anymore. We must do something to appease them for the time being. I know. That's why I will publicly proclaim Naruto a S-rank criminal who is to be hunted down wherever he may be. Kami, forgive me, but his parents must be rolling in their graves, Tsunade said with weary expression. Guy was startled. I believed he was an orphan named Uzumaki. To honor his sacrifice, it was a common misbelief among Konoha's populace, fueled by the third Hokage and other elders. Everyone knew that the Uzumaki were all gone, yet their memory lived on in Konoha, whose ninja wore their spiral emblem. What a stupid thing to believe in. Really, Guy, are you so naive? Tsunade laughed without humor. No wonder he was so mistreated as a boy by the villagers. Now they are going to reap what they've sown so eagerly, and the Maelstrom will carry everything to its damnation. How ironic that his name also means Maelstrom. Who are his parents then? Guy asked, feeling cold dread out of a sudden. Namikaze Minato and Uzumaki Kushina were wed on the day Sensei was inaugurated as our fourth Hokage. Kakashi replied, feeling shame and bitterness because he had always known and didn't lift a finger to help the boy, all out of the fear that someone would take an interest in the fact that Hatake Kakashi seemed unusually fond of the demon child. He should have known better and protected his sensei's son from the hatred that eventually consumed him. What other fate could have awaited the child, exposed to hate every god's damn day for the most of its life? No. Guy was horrified. He too realized what Kakashi meant. And you knew? How could you abandon your own sensei's son to that loneliness? Kami, you of all people knew what it was like to grow up without parents. Kakashi looked down in shame. I thought it was best to leave him alone. I was afraid someone might wonder why I would want to spend time with him. Enough of that, both of you. Tsunade spoke sharply. What's done is done. We have to face what's coming and hope we survive. I'm not sure we deserve to survive. Guy muttered darkly and kept quiet. Afterwards, Mizukage-sama, why did you say that the Uzumaki was a traitor? One of Mizukage's guards asked, his pointed teeth visible as he spoke. Because I'm not sure whom to trust. Hideki Mizukage replied coldly, we are severely weakened at the moment, and therefore very vulnerable. Our witness is a bitter and ashamed man shaken by what he went through. Maybe Uzumaki is really loyal to his village, and maybe he was just messing with his head. I am inclined to believe in the second, because we all saw the reaction of the Hokage and her companions, but if it was just a ruse, then we owe to the brat to stay uncompromised to complete the mission. No wonder you've been chosen to lead us. You were always able to choose the best option available, no matter how complicated situation was. Hideki grinned toothily. Kankuro, calm down, Baki admonished his student, who was pacing nervously as they waited for the meeting to reconvene. Sorry, Baki-sensei, Kankuro replied and stopped his pacing. I'm just freaked out by the info we heard. Who'd have thought that the guy who killed Gaara would go rogue? We all were. Tamari added as she frowned. I wonder what will Konoha do? Their options are limited, so I can safely guess they will proclaim him a missing nin and let him be hunted by anyone who wants, or who is stupid enough anyway. Baki said with a shrug, we certainly have no means to do so, so we will do nothing. Am I understood? He killed Gaara, Tamari protested. I believe it's little too late to make your feelings for Gaara rule your behavior, Tamari, Baki countered, and Tamari reddened in shame. It was true, she never really showed any kindness towards her lost brother when he was alive. Kankuro didn't get involved. He wanted no part of that argument. He too had realized he missed Gaara, but it was far too late, and so he accepted what was and moved on. Only sometimes he felt regret for not being proper older brother, only sometimes. Grandfather, what happens now? Kuratsuchi asked Tsuchikage as they waited for the end of the break. She was tall, brunette, and late teens, close to being 20. We will not make any rushed decisions, Kuratsuchi-chan. That's what will happen, Inoki replied sourly, rubbing his thick mustache. We are in a tight spot with Han and Rashigan. Let us see what happens. Akatsuchi looked thoughtful, which was an alien expression on the younger man, size of a small mountain. Do we trust the words of this new Mizukage? Who gives a damn rock about that weakling if another Konoha super kid betrayed them or not? It's unimportant in the whole scheme of things. Think Akatsuchi. Why are we here to talk about Akatsuki? Yes, that's it, and we are also going to talk about making some kind of alliance to tangle with that group together. Mark my words, it will be interesting to see who will be chosen to lead it, Tsuchikage said, looking positively Gleeful, I'm going to make sure that Konoha doesn't get chosen even if we get the same treatment. That doesn't sound wise, grandfather Kuratsuchi noted with a hint of reproach. I never claimed I was wise, child. Inoki laughed evilly. She tell me was the damned woman honest in her behavior? Asked his best censor from Kumo. He was really getting angry with all the deceptions. He wanted B back. They were A-B team, the best there was in Kumo, and he actually cared for BS Raikage-sama, she replied instantly, but she didn't deny that the Uzumaki might be really a traitor. Mizuki's words were also truthful, but I sensed he was hiding something. Darui sighed loudly. That's to be expected. Everyone here is hiding something too. True, rumbled. I will ask for a decisive action, boys. Those criminals took B and Yujito without impunity. We can't let that slide. Let's go back. I hope you have thought rationally about the current situation, ladies and gentlemen, so that we may resolve this quickly. Time is running out for all of us, Mifune said as everyone sat down at the conference table. Who wishes to speak first? I do, Tsunade said gravely. Does anyone object? Mifune asked and looked around, but no one said so. He looked at Tsunade and nodded. Please say what you will. Tsunade nodded back, then squared shoulders before speaking. Konoha is a proud village, and we are greatly shamed with Uzumaki Naruto's betrayal. We are left with only one honorable thing to do. Henceforth we name him a missing ninja of S rank, to be hunted down by anyone willing to risk their lives. He will be posted in the bingo book with his known skills and abilities included. Furthermore, we propose an alliance to deal with the Akatsuki, since only together we can hope to defeat this group. Thank you, Okage Dano. Does anyone have anything to add? Mifune eyed the other Kage. I do. Slammed his fist on the table. I will be frank, I don't trust anyone in this room. You are all guilty of former association with those renegades at one time. The Mist was suspect of housing that group in the beginning. For example, I will accept the alliance proposal, but only if Kumogakure no Sato is made its leader. We are the only village whose ninja aren't in the Akatsuki. I don't know, Mizuki said after a slight pause. Raikage-sama is a rather volatile man. We need cool heads to win this war. You mean to nominate yourself? Tsuchikage sneered. Ambitious youngsters, the lot of you. I am the most experienced Kage here. Wouldn't I be a better choice? So says the man known as the fence sitter. Baki said with small grin on his face. Inoki wasn't insulted, he laughed proudly. Interesting, Mifune said while looking at Tsunade with curious expression. Doesn't Konoha have any interest in leading this endeavor? Tsunade had her eyes closed. We have 2 members in the Akatsuki, plus they have Jiraiya-sama in custody. I'm afraid we can't nominate ourselves. Our moves and tactics would be known to the Akatsuki. Well spoken, Mifune said. I must admit this is not easy still. Since I'm the mediator, I will decide who will lead this alliance. I choose the 4th Raikage for an obvious reason. He was right in saying that his village is the only one uncompromised. That and the fact that he may be volatile in temper, but one doesn't become a Kage without being good leader and warrior of exceptional skill. What do you say? It was Tsuchikage who responded first. I must agree, so let's make this alliance and reclaim our properties. He didn't need to say that he didn't want Tsunade to be the boss. The rest fell in line. After that, Mifune was smiling, satisfied with the results of the meeting. Excellent. Let us discuss our priorities then. The Akatsuki have all Biju but one, the Ichibi. We obviously must stop them from getting it. Indeed we must do so, he agreed quickly. I assume that the creature will reappear soon. That is certain. Baki nodded amicably. We have been tracking its energy signature since some time ago. We will know the place and time of Ichibi's reconstitution soon. Good, keep it a secret until the last moment so that we may surprise the Akatsuki bastards as suggested. In the meantime, we must organize our shinobi into one army that will be ready to march at the earliest time possible to crush those criminals. It would be also safe to assume that they will know about Ichibi too. Tsunade announced to everyone. How did you come to that conclusion? A asked, more curious than worried. I know Naruto, that's all. Perhaps he is still using Jiraiya's network to gain information. Tsunade said that is prudent. We must assume they too know about Ichibi. Tsuchikage added with some amused gleam in his eyes. Jiraiya's spies are most excellent. If I may add, I've caught a few in the past. Slippery little rats. Very well, we will act in accordance to this assumption. Ace said. Now we must discuss details of this alliance to use our resources most effectively. There is one matter we haven't resolved, Mizuki said, and everyone looked at him. What? A asked sharply. What will happen after we defeat the Akatsuki if we manage to do so? I mean, Tsuchikage was leaning forward, grinning viciously. You're talking about our Biju, aren't you? That attracted everyone's attention. Mizun saw it was a touchy subject and decided to butt in. It is clear what must be done. The best solution is to give each Biju back to its village according to their status before abduction. That means each village gets its own Biju back. Nice idea, Mifune. Dano Inoki said with serious look on his face, but to be honest, I will say this, some villages look like they don't have the ability to contain their beasts properly. Not anymore. The angry silence ensued as every leader was calculating how to obtain this ultimate power in the ninja World a tailed beast. Some sought to get more than they had previously, some feared to lose the amount they once possessed, and here it is, the true face of the leaders and nations. Isn't that worth witnessing? Samurai, someone said, making every kage and their guards turn towards the entrance of the chamber. This is a private meeting, intruder, Mifune said with steely voice. Show yourself, and my guards may show mercy. Your words amuse me, Mifune Dano, but I'll do as you asked. Behold and realize what you are facing, mortal. Everyone was alarmed when they saw the black clack with red clouds. The wearer had chalk white skin, orange hair, and black piercings on his face and wrists. He was tall, wide-shouldered, and quite intimidating. Akatsuki growled, you dare to show your faces here? I do what I want because no one can stop me, the pale man stated, approaching the table. He eyed every leader coolly. I am the leader of the Akatsuki. Pain, you're one of Hanzo's rogues. How is that bastard anyway? Tsuchikage said with deceptively friendly tone, deducing Pain's village of origin from seeing his aim headband with scratched aim symbol. He is resting in peace. That I brought him personally, Pain replied calmly, making everybody stare in shock. Salamander Hanzo was one of the strongest ninja of the age, said to be nigh unbeatable. That's some claim. Young man, Inoki finally commented, drawing on his age and experience to stay calm. It's the truth, but you wouldn't know that so easily, being so deceitful yourself for so long. Little man, Pain replied with amused smile that sent Inoki floating in the air with a scowl. You are rude boy, best you mind that tone of yours, or I might be compelled to dust you. Feel free to do so. This isn't my real body anyway. I have taken one of the samurai as my puppet for this projection. I mean, only a fool would come here in person. I am not a fool, Pain said, and chuckled at everyone's stares. Mifune looked startled. You murdered one of my men. I never said so. I'm merely using him as a conduit, Pain answered, and looked at Raikage, scarred with blonde hair. You may cease trying to scout my real position. I have hidden my chakra even from the likes of you. Why did you come here? Pain, Tsunade asked with calm voice. Inside she was bursting with the desire to throttle the prick who held her teammate. She didn't care for Naruto anymore, not after what he did. Tsunade, I see you're as lovely as when we met for the first time, Pain replied with mocking smile. You are mistaken. I have never seen you before. Tsunade spat angrily. Where's Jiraiya? Naruto will be crushed. You haven't asked about him. Pain smiled. Still, you shouldn't worry about Jiraiya sensei. He's just fine. Jiraiya sensei? Kakashi asked, expressing everyone's surprise at that information. No, you can't be. Tsunade suddenly realized where and when did she see that particular hair color. You do remember. Good. Pain nodded with evident satisfaction. And would someone care to enlighten the rest of us? Inoki grumbled, still angry at the weird-eyed intruder. Tsunade closed her eyes in memory. He is one of the orphans from the time of the second Shinobi War. And my teammates encountered an aim. Jiraiya felt sorry for them and stayed behind to help them fend for themselves, to teach them to survive and see what it brought him. It's true when they say that no good deed goes unpunished. Indeed, after all, I spared sensei's life. When I beat him, I wish him to witness my dream come true. A dream he gave me, as a matter of fact. Pain spoke with some amusement. Audible. Tsunade chuckled at that. Somehow I don't think he would ever dream of world conquest. More like he'd want the world where women were forbidden to have clothes unless they're too young or too old or ugly. That's some dream, Baki whispered, then blushed when everybody stared at him. Never mind, what is your dream? Mifune asked coldly, staring at the man who walked in his fortress like he owned it. It bespoke of arrogance, no doubt, or confidence in one's own power to bring peace to this world full of suffering. Pain stated, eyeing everyone. Our world is constantly at war. Strong nations exploit the weak ones, using them as pawns for their own gain without regard as to who suffers. It has always been so because people can never really understand each other unless they experience the same pain, and even then it's hard. We are far too separate from each other in our minds. So what do you think to do to change that? Raikage growled. Why do you need our Jinchuriki? I have no need of them, only of their Biju. Fear not, your Jinchuriki are still alive and will be returned to you in a few days. Impossible. Everyone knows that the Jinchuriki can't survive the extraction of their Biju, Tsuchikage stated with angry tone. I am not everyone, Tsuchikage, so calm down. Han and Rashi will return to your village should they desire, so I'm afraid that some of your living weapons weren't treated well by some of you. Pain replied with sharp glare at every kage. You've got interesting eyes, Kakashi stated as Sharingan unveiled again. It's not a Genjutsu, isn't it? Tsunade looked at him and smiled thinly when Kakashi shook his head. So you are the one Jiraiya sought for so long. What the heck are you talking about? Raikage asked with angry face. He's got some half-assed dojutsu, so what you Konoha bastards have them dime a dozen. My men will laugh when they hear that one Rinnegan called a half-assed dojutsu. Pain chuckled. That's just a myth. Rinnegan was just a random mutation, Kakashi stated firmly. But everyone could sense a tension in his voice. Sensei believed it was real and that I am the reincarnation of the Rakuto Sennin. He taught me how to use it in the beginning. Later I begun discovering other powers of my eyes, many of which you've never even heard of. Pain said boldly. You talk big, but can you back it up? Baki challenged the gray-eyed man. I'm not here to perform for you, but if you insist, go out of the room and bring in 2 guards I killed before I entered. Mifune glared at him, but nodded, and his samurai vanished only to return with two of their comrades dead. They placed them in the empty space within the half-circle of the conference room. Pain looked at Tsunade. Would you confirm that they are really dead? Fine, but this better be good. Tsunade growled and did as Pain asked. She checked them with medical jutsu. They have their necks broken. They're dead. All right, good. Now look and see my power, Pain announced and placed his hands in a ram hand sign. He closed his eyes to concentrate better, uncaring if someone attacked him. After a minute or two, the dead samurai suddenly sat up with terrified expressions on their faces. Kami's balls, Tsunade shouted, and immediately checked the previously very dead men. She stood up and faced Pain with fear in her eyes. How? You're only a man. I am a man with the eyes of a god of pain. I will bring the world so much pain that everyone will know it, and finally, they will want no more. Then we shall have peace, Pain announced with dead serious tone. By all that's holy, why would you want to waste your gifts? So Mifune asked, still shocked by what he saw. His men were still in shock too, babbling about their dead parents. Waste? I don't think so. I have observed humanity, and I saw greed, corruption, violence, and lack of empathy. I will not do anything myself. You will do it to yourselves with my gift. What gift? Raikage asked with his face a shade paler. You're all aware of the destructive potential of the Biju. I will use them all to construct a weapon of mass destruction, the likes you've never even imagined, and I will give it to the human race. Pain explained and smiled as he saw every one of them go polar. Then ever you understand, true to its nature, humanity will inevitably use it, and pain will spread across the world until people will not be able to stand it anymore. They will cease to fight, and the era of peace will begin until people grow decadent and corrupt again. Then it will start all over, and so forth, a cycle of destruction and renewal for all time. Madness, Raikage bellowed. People are morons, you psycho. All you will be doing is giving them new weapons. The world will be destroyed. What right have you to steal our weapons? If you want it so badly, go and make your own. Pain scowled, then his face smoothed in that superior facade. Right, I have it, and I will tell you why. It's written on the secret tablet of the Uchiha clan. They had it since the dawn of their existence, passed from one generation to the next, and so from the very first of their line, only those with the Sharingan can decipher it, and I with my Rinnegan could do even more than the strongest of their line, for my eyes gave birth to theirs. And how did you get your hands on it? Tsunade questioned, although she suspected the answer. When Uchiha Itachi slew his kinsman, I was able to enter their hidden shrine and gaze upon the tablet unopposed, and I have seen all of its secrets, meant for those with the same eyes as the revered Six Paths sage, Pain stated, and saw hints of belief in every listener. It was like this. Once long ago there was a traveling priest who lived in a time of strife and war. He too sought peace for men, and he was gifted with vision beyond any man alive. He discovered the final secrets of chakra and founded a new religion with many followers, Ninshu Ninja sect. But you all know that what was forgotten is this: there was a menace to the world at the time, the cause of much destruction and death to all. The sage went to confront this menace, this beast of 10 tails. Jubi. Pain paused for the effect, pleased to see they were intent on his words. He couldn't defeat Jubi with raw power, even if he was much more powerful than me, so he created a new skill and sealed the beast into himself, thus becoming the world's first Jinchuriki. Now that had everyone shocked and amazed. So you see, the people of the world started to worship him as God for saving them. He lived for a long time spreading the knowledge of chakra and his ideals. He was a holy man, our first teacher, but he was still only human. He had children. The legend speaks of 2 sons. The older inherited his ocular and spiritual power, while the younger inherited his physical power and body. But he knew he wouldn't live forever, especially since Jubi's power was constantly making war with his own, and it strained him a great deal. As he felt his end coming, he decided to see who of his sons would be his inheritor. He called them to ask one question: what was the best way to gain peace? The older son said that strength was needed. The younger said it was love. The sage chose the younger son. When his time was upon him, he went into isolation and worked his last jutsu. He knew that Jubi would be reformed after his passing and sought a way to stop it, so he used his ultimate power, the power of creation itself, based on his mastery of yin-yang chakra, and split Jubi into 9 lesser beasts that we know today. He lifted Jubi's physical body and used his power to seal it in the sky, creating the moon as its prison. Every man and woman in the room exchanged disbelieving stares. The whole story was getting more and more outlandish. Raikage suppressed his urge to don his Raiton armor and decapitate this storytelling maniac. He had to constantly remind himself that the man wasn't really in the room with them. I see you are getting impatient, so I will cut my story short. When the sage died, his sons got into a fight because the elder son believed he was slighted and attacked his brother out of jealousy. It's not known who won, but the bad blood between them remained and was passed on to their heirs, who later became 2 clans, the Uchiha and the Senju. Tsunade looked bored. That's pretty much what my family already knew, so I know that there's some truth to your tale, but tell me something new, and I doubt that all that was written on the tablet. Pain gave her a nod of agreement. You are right, on the tablet there was little of the feud between the two clans, but a lot about the origin and purpose of the Sharingan, since it's descended of the sage's eyes and has their power over tailed beasts, since the sage made them out of Jubi and his own essence, which resonates with the Sharingan, and the Uchiha's spiritual energy. Even then only a few of them could truly sync with the Biju, especially Kyuubi. You speak of Uchiha Madara. Tsuchikage concluded, then amended his words, and Hashirama Senju. Everyone agreed the two legendary shinobi were famous for their ability to control tailed beasts, especially Hashirama, who was said to have kept them like pets. Indeed, Madara himself told me so and revealed he was the one who used Kyuubi to attack Konoha 16 years ago. Pain dropped a veritable exploding tag in the room. Everybody started to talk, claiming this and that, mainly telling him he was a liar and that Madara was dead. Silence, Pain exclaimed, releasing a wave of killing intent strong enough for everybody to obey instantly. No, he saw they weren't cowed into submission, but he had their attention. I do not lie, because I don't have to. Madara was indeed alive, and he has been my advisor for many years, helping me to create the Akatsuki and realize the power of my eyes. Tsunade leaned in her chair, eyeing the gray-eyed man with speculation. I take it you and Madara had a falling out of sorts, since you refer to him in the past tense. Yes, I wasn't deceived by his helping manner. I knew he had his own plans with the Biju, namely he wanted to become the new Jubi host to attain godlike power and rule the world. As if you know, that sounds like something he'd want. Inoki said. He grinned. Hell's bells, I'd want it too. Curse that man. How did he survive the battle with Hashirama-sama? Pain shrugged. He used a forbidden technique that cost him most of his old strength. That's why he tried to manipulate me instead of doing everything by himself. Pain wasn't about to say everything Madara did or tried to do. Only Naruto truly knew the depth of Madara's megalomania. Well, that was a nice chat, Pain, Tsunade said suddenly, so I say thanks for revealing the secret of the Biju and all that, but if you believe we will just drop on our knees and watch you walk over us, eat shit. I admit Konoha isn't the place of purity and truth, nor that we're the good guys here, but that doesn't mean you're right, and so we will do our best to stop you. You are playing with the forces beyond your control. Rinnegan be damned, you are risking the return of Jubi just like your dead pal Madara. You are crazy, and that's it. I agree, bellowed, slamming his fists on the table. I want B and Yujito back in our Biju as well. It wasn't the most intelligent word of support, but it got things rolling in moments. Every Kage had supported Tsunade's point of view. Pain looked at the assembled leaders and their guards and closed his eyes. So be it, I will crush you and take Ichibi, then I will obliterate your hidden villages. You will know pain like never before. Wait, Tsunade called out to the lead of the Akatsuki before he left them. I need to know, why did Naruto betray us, and has he really attacked the Mist Ninja? Pain paused, then smiled coldly. That I will tell you gladly. He joined me because he hates your village for being hypocrites. He never chose his fate, yet everyone blamed him for something he never did or wanted to be. Did you know he was an empath? He can sense emotions of others, Tsunade said with pained expression, for everyone to see and wince in realization, to be able to feel truly how others regarded you, to be stripped of any ability to lie to yourself, to somehow ignore the sordid truth of your bleak existence. There was a word for it, hell. Pain nodded to them. I see you are aware what he must have been through, and I tell you still have no idea. I too am unable to understand the depth of his pain, but I can guess at his level of hatred. He has grown with the desire to save others from his fate. He asked me to spare the other Jinchuriki in exchange for his assistance, and I agreed. That's why you will have your Jinchuriki back. Perhaps you will no longer hate them and regard them as mere weapons, but I sincerely doubt that. After he let his words sink, he spoke again. Naruto kept his word, and after giving me Kyuubi he went and defeated Killer Bee, thus bringing me Hachibi. He is truly a unique ninja, stronger than Jiraiya Sensei. Now he killed the Godei Mizukage and other Mist Nin because they tried to subject another innocent child to the same fate he and others had. The same will happen to all of you if you truly persist in hiding Ichibi from us. When I'm done with the Biju, you will never be able to make another Jinchuriki. That's why he has joined me. Hell, now I know how they got Deidara on their side with all the explosive power they intend to create. Inoki muttered. He wasn't moved by the revelations about some snot-nosed brat from Konoha. It doesn't really matter, Tsunade replied. In the end, he has made his choice, and I can even understand him, but when you see him, tell him I will rip off his head. You will try. Pain smirked and closed his eyes. His image shimmered until it vanished, leaving behind just another samurai who immediately collapsed on the floor. The real Pain, Nagato, opened his eyes at a place far away from the samurai fortress and sighed. His attempt to impress the ninja leaders wasn't successful, but he saw enough to learn about their tempers and their views of the world so he could make educated guesses of their next moves. He seemingly revealed much about his goals and plans, but they still knew nothing about what he could truly accomplish with the Biju already in his grasp. They were in for a rude surprise. Back in the fortress, the shinobi stare at each other. Finally Raikage stood up. I take it our plans for alliance are still valid? Yes, they are. Tsunade said, it's obvious we're dealing with a madman, but who is very powerful. We must hurry before it's too late. I hate to say it, but Hokage Dano is right. We can't allow them to succeed. IWA will mobilize all of its forces if other villages support us, Inoki announced, floating in the air. The rest followed the suit. Naruto opened his eyes in the darkness of his small cell inside the Akatsuki base and allowed himself a small frown of displeasure. He was floating half a meter in the air, deeply in the force trance, so that he could observe the meeting of Kages from afar. Nagato surprised him with his theatrics. He should have just blasted the whole fortress into smithereens, and the Kages as well. The ensuing confusion might have started the new war between hidden villages, or at least slowed down their mobilization and cooperation attempts, but no, he had to go there and blab about Jubi and other things. At least it was amusing to see their faces as they listened to the outlandish tale about Jubi and the sage. Soon as time was at hand. Time skip. Naruto paused at the door, allowing the prisoners to take a good look at him. He didn't have to read their minds to find out they wanted to rip his head off. The Jinchuriki were never really mild-tempered people. They were quite a colorful bunch. Hachibi's ex-host was a mountain of muscle, dark-skinned and with white hair and beard. He was quietly studying Naruto, looking for a sign of weakness. He wasn't rapping anymore. Apparently he was really fond of Hachibi. Odd, but not really impossible. Nibi's host was another story. Yujito was a tall blonde woman with athletic body. Her eyes were dark. She also had a nice rack. She had a short-sleeved black and purple shirt, black ninja pants, and red belt around her waist. There was a chain of white beads on her left forearm, and she was trying to kill him with her gaze. The other girl was angry too, but also oddly relieved. Deep within, she was Nanabi's host. Once the girl had a mint green hair, orange eyes, and tan skin. She wore simple white sleeveless shirt and short white apron with fishnet under both pieces. There was an orange clip in her hair. Then there were the IWA Jinchuriki Han, and Rashi Han was a tall, heavily armored man who radiated anger on principle. Naruto knew he had a difficult childhood, worse than his. In a way, Rashi was shorter, red-haired man who dressed himself in a long-sleeved purple shirt and pants and brown armor. He was the oldest Jinchuriki, yet his hair was still without white color. Rashi was wearing a large headpiece consisting of a three-pointed crown-like ridge bearing both his Iwagakure forehead protector and ring, and a prominent black piece of armor running across his cheeks and the bridge of his nose. The last was a man from Mist Utakata. The host of Rokubi Utakata was a tall, thin young man with pale golden eyes and black hair that reached to his shoulders. His side partition let a large portion of his bangs cover the left side of his face. He was wearing a long light blue kimono adorned with a small emblem of 3 bubbles on the back below the collar and an orange sash. Hello guys, I bring good news, Naruto told them with wide grin, much like a cat that caught its prey. What news? Yujito demanded hotly, feeling angry at the bastard who betrayed them all. You're being sent to your homes as leader. Sama promised, Naruto announced, causing the Jinchuriki to look at him with surprise and suspicion. Is that some kind of sick joke? Han asked with anger flashing in his eyes. Naruto shrugged. I have no idea. You guys are relatively harmless without your biju, so we have no need to keep you with us. What's with your faces? I thought you'd be happy. How can we be happy when you caused us to fail in fulfilling our duties? Yujito spat angrily. Not all of us are oath breakers and missing Nin. Naruto chuckled at her words. My how amusing. I'm honestly surprised. Those bastards in Kumo certainly know how to raise their Jinchuriki properly. You must have been a nice obedient weapon. Have screw you. Let me out of this shithole and I'll grind your balls into mush. Yujito replied, her face flushed with anger. Calm down, Killer Bee told her, and Yujito turned to look at him in surprise. Bee gave her a sad grin. He is too strong for any of us, Yujito-chan. Even without his biju, he is just toying with us. Actually, I'm not toying with you guys. Like I said, you'll be set free in a day or so, Naruto said with serious face. I know how hard it was for most of you to carry your biju. That pain and loneliness and unfair treatment, that's why I joined these guys, to free us from something we never chose. When you are set free, choose carefully where you will go. You won't find home with the Akatsuki. We no longer recruit new members, but let me give you a warning. Don't expect a warm welcome in your villages. Most likely you will be accused of treachery and weakness, because you were always the target for negative opinion of your so-called comrades and neighbors. Naruto saw that his words struck a chord in some, while others remained indifferent. It was expected. Most of the Jinchuriki were well conditioned to be loyal to their villages. He suspected that Han and Utakata would vanish, never to return to their respective villages. Killer Bee and Yujito would return, so would Rashi, while Fu was just too scared to decide yet. He left them to stew on his words while he had other matters to take care of. Uchiha Sasuke was standing in the meeting chamber along with several other high-ranking jounin of the village as Tsunade and her advisors announced the formation of the Great Shinobi Alliance. Sakura was with him and so were the rest of Konoha's rookies since they were among the strongest in their respective fields and they were also the heirs to the best ninja clans of Konoha. There was the ANBU commander flanked by Marino Ibiki and Yamanaka Inoichi. Mitarashi Anko was sitting next to an unknown jounin looking bored out of her mind. Guy and Kakashi were absent, which was odd, but no one questioned their non-appearance. Now we must hurry with our preparations for the war with the Akatsuki. The ANBU are already at the highest alert. You will help with the preparations for the war. Also, I want all our ninja recalled from their missions immediately, and start making lists of our supplies and personnel. I have named Nara Shikaku my war advisor, so I will be able to deal with the alliance personally. Tsunade announced. Are these criminals really that dangerous? One man in the back asked. There's only 10 of them. They possess all but one of the Biju, so their power cannot be dismissed easily, and their leader wields the Rinnegan, a dojutsu more powerful than any we know about. Hamura said with sharp tone. That left no doubts about the severity of their situation. There is another important information that must be shared. Tsunade spoke. Her eyes were closed. Everyone saw how her advisors seemed immensely nervous at the summit. We have been told by the Godame Mizukage that Uzumaki Naruto has joined the Akatsuki. What? Sakura was visibly shocked, and so were the rest of the rookies. That's hard to believe. Is there any proof? Aburame Shino asked with calm tone while Kiba was trying to support Hinata, who looked horrified and tearful. He has unmasked himself to one of the mist ninja after killing the Yonde Mizukage and her escort. Single-handedly, it has been confirmed by our men that he was accompanied by none else than Uchiha Itachi, who took control of Sanbai, and they fled together to parts unknown. Tsunade said with firm voice that sent everyone reeling. But more hits were coming. His defection has been confirmed by the leader of the Akatsuki. Sasuke's Sharingan flared to life, blazing with rage, but his voice was emotionless. Why? What would make him give up his power? The greatest of all Biju. Tsunade gave him a flat stare. Apparently he didn't appreciate that fact as much as we expected him to. His early life has left a mark on him which he had rather well. The Akatsuki offered him a way out. He is no longer a despised Jinchuriki, and yet he lives. My belief is that he was never loyal to Konoha. We should have killed the brat years ago. Someone cursed loudly, which brought on a whole cascade of long-hidden resentment and cursing. The rookies exchanged glances, finally seeing clearly what people really thought of Naruto. Haha. Anko laughed merrily, slapping her thighs. Everyone stared at her. Look at you morons, no wonder he defected. You bitch, watch your mouth. Or what? Ichiro-kun, Anko purred, holding the terrified Jonin from behind her, kunai resting under his jaw. The man trembled under her killing intent. Anko released him a moment later with disgusted sigh. Pathetic. You better watch who you insult next time, weakling. Anko ceased posturing. Ibiki spoke with cold tone, reminding his subordinate of proper behavior. Anko grinned and returned to her old spot. Tsunade cleared her throat to attract everyone's attention back to her. With the information we have, I have no choice but to pronounce Namikaze Naruto, an S-ranked missing ninja who is to be hunted by everyone with no mercy. Namikaze. 100 voices shouted in terrible shock. That's a lie, someone shouted angrily. There is no chance he's related to the Yoname. Sorry to disappoint you, but it's true, Tsunade said with certain smug satisfaction. Namikaze Minato married Uzumaki Kushina on the same day he was made the 4th Hokage. When Kyuubi came, he decided to seal it in his only child, hoping that his Uzumaki blood will help him contain the creature more effectively. Besides, what kind of a man would demand someone else's child when he had his own? And we all know what kind of a man he was. You are dismissed. But someone tried to ask something, but Tsunade hopped to her feet and released her killing intent, which sent most people to their knees. Her face was a snarling visage of rage. But what, you pieces of shit, what do you want now that you know the truth? She was breathing heavily and one lone tear slid down her cheek. It was you ungrateful sons of whores who belittled him since the day he was born. It was you who taught him to lie, to betray, and hate. Why do you make such surprised expressions? After all, he is just a demon brat. What matters who his parents were? What matters that he was my only living relative? Has this village forgotten its history so easily? I am an Uzumaki by my mother and grandmother. In case you have forgotten, you bore the symbol of his and my clan all this time, yet you spat on him, cursed him, hated him, beat him up, stole from him. What more do you want? Forgiveness by the gods. My grandfather and granduncle Minato, whom you all loved, so they are probably screaming at the injustice you gave them and their blood. You disgust me. Get out of my sight, you sniveling worms. Leave, all of you. There was a shocked silence for a few seconds, but everyone obeyed, and there was a sudden rush to leave the chamber. The rookies had stunned expressions on their faces. They were moving on autopilot when they were all gathered outside in a park not too far from the Hokage Tower. Kiba summed it up in one crass sentence: we're fucked. Akamaru barked his consent. By the gods, we didn't know. Ino protested. Angrily, we have been lied to all these years, Sasuke hissed angrily. He also felt Orochimaru's distant laughter. The snake was enjoying all that profoundly. I can't believe it, Sakura said, feeling numb all over. My parents, they hated him always. I remember how my mom used to tell me he was bad, that I should avoid him at any cost. The teachers hated him too, Shikamaru said, his hands in his pockets and his eyes looking at his feet. I remember how Funio-sensei always tried to make him look stupid or to place blame on him for stuff that went wrong. Only Iruka-sensei liked Naruto. Hinata sniffed sadly. He will be devastated when he hears this, but Naruto is now our enemy, Choji said, stumbling a little over that word. He never thought that a fellow classmate would become his enemy. Yes, and that scares me, Hubiniji admitted, much to everyone's surprise. He was the strongest among us back then. I don't wish to find out what did he learn from Jiraiya-sama. That is something to consider, but we also have to factor in that he's no longer Kyuubi's container. His enormous chakra reserves are not so enormous anymore. His whole strength is lesser now, Shino said his piece. No, he is still extremely dangerous, Shino-kun. Hinata disagreed. I know that most people believe he owes his power to Kyuubi, but I used to watch him a lot and I can tell you he never really relied on it much. What we know of him is still a valid fact. Please don't underestimate him. I agree, but I have to wonder if he will really come against us with intent to kill, Shikamaru asked, causing everyone to flinch slightly. We must assume he will. Naruto, that we all knew was probably just a fake he presented for the authorities. He used the village's resources and stole Jiraiya-sama's secrets, then left. He was never our friend, Sasuke said, and everyone knew he was right no matter how hard it was to accept. What do we do then? Rock Lee asked, his bright smile gone. We fight to defend our home, Choji rumbled, his eyes blazing with grim determination. Yeah, it's a home full of lying shitheads, but not everyone is guilty. We gotta fight to protect those who were good people and still are. Kiba muttered angrily. He was going to have words with his mother. It's actually scary when you think about it closely, Ino said with strange smile on her face. All those people we know are nice and decent, who have families and who always smiled at us. How could they hate him for so long and so blindly? How he was just a kid born at the wrong time and wrong place. They were scared, so they lashed out at him, Shino said, reminding everyone that he and his family weren't that popular either because of their bug hives they hosted within their bodies. I believe it's all useless now. We must deal with this no matter how we look at it. Naruto is now our enemy and I will not let him hurt me or my friends, no matter how sorry I feel for him. Nobody deserved that kind of treatment, but I didn't hate him or hurt him, neither my family, as I refuse to let him hurt us or you guys. Ten said with firm voice. Everyone nodded at that. It was just the way it was. Life really sucks sometimes. Tsunade was sitting in her office looking out of the window at the village and took a long drink from the sake bottle. She was still angry at those stupid prejudiced idiots who spent so much time pissing on her family unknowingly yet very persistently. It was always easier to hate and blame others. She shivered in sudden premonition of doom. Somehow she knew that Naruto was that one enemy Konoha just would not beat. They have underestimated him too much, and now he would be coming to show Konoha what it meant to piss of an Uzumaki. Gods help us, but we're all dead, Tsunade muttered and took another swig. Uchiha Sasuke walked in his house slowly, his whole body trembling with anger. There was also some hurt in it all. Despite what he claimed, Sasuke came to respect Naruto's strength and skill. Now he came out to be as deceitful and cruel as that man. They even worked together now. It was surreal to even consider. Naruto was the son of Konoha's greatest hero since the first Hokage's time, and now he was a missing ninja. It was crazy and humiliating. The other ninja villages would consider them idiots and incompetent. Sasuke shivered suddenly. There was a scary thought that assailed his mind. Did he master that jutsu? If he did, they were all dead. Ryu, for your thoughts, Sasuke, came a familiar voice from the backyard, and Sasuke shunted on the roof to observe from safer position. His eyes widened. It was that masked bastard. What are you doing here? Sasuke growled, but didn't bother to attack or call for help. He knew that this guy was impervious to all attacks. It's time for you to meet your destiny. What? Sasuke asked with narrowed eyes. His Sharingan activated. He stiffened when the masked man moved his left arm slowly and removed his mask. Sasuke's eyes widened in shock. Naruto, your face looks so funny. Naruto grinned, chuckling merrily. Sasuke didn't feel amused. Why did you betray Konoha? Hokage-sama was crying when she announced your betrayal. Kakashi-sensei must be hurt too. No skin of my back. Naruto shrugged and looked quite calm about it. I did what I needed to do, and now I'm doing what I wanted to do for a long time. I assume people now know who I really am. Sasuke nodded tersely, still too shocked to make a move. Naruto smirked. I wish I could have seen that. I bet most of them refuse to believe that I'm their beloved Yandame's son, at least at first. Don't you feel obligated to follow his example and come back? Sasuke tried to reason with Naruto. I know it was hard, but you stopped. Naruto cut Sasuke off. You have no idea what are my reasons for doing what I do, and you would never understand. I will tell you this. This place is of no concern to me whether Konoha survives what is coming or not. It's all same to me what could be so important, Sasuke asked stubbornly. Indeed, but that will have to remain my secret now. Are you ready to face Itachi? Sasuke scowled. Where's he? I will take you to see him now, Naruto said, like you did the last time Sasuke challenged him. Getting ready to fight, he channeled chakra subtly to his limbs, preparing to attack at the first chance. That was different. Orochimaru is gone now. I will take you to Itachi. No, I don't, Sasuke begun replying when something pushed him off the roof and he found himself hanging in the air in front of smiling Naruto. I never said you could refuse, Naruto commented, and moved closer to Sasuke. In the next moment their surroundings changed. They were in the forest somewhere. Sasuke fell on one thick tree and balanced himself easily. Naruto was standing a ways off, pointing in one direction. We are in the woods surrounding the ancient Uchiha temple. It's that way. Itachi is in there alone? Sasuke asked, feeling suspicious. Yes, Naruto replied and vanished. Sasuke grimaced. Apparently his worst fear was true. Naruto had mastered the oration. He had to win his fight, to inform Konoha that there was a weight upon Itachi's soul as he waited for his brother to come. This was the moment he had been waiting for many years. Also, he was reluctant to accept that it came. He never wanted to fight Sasuke, but his path was sealed for him when he met that monster Madara. A short moment of hope came when Naruto informed him of Madara's death, but that was it. Naruto concocted his cruel plan and made him agree to it. Pain even sealed the deal when he healed him a few days ago with his mystical power. The Rinnegan was truly the eye of Rakuto Sennin. He will be here shortly, Itachi, Naruto said after suddenly appearing next to the chair of stone where the prodigious Uchiha sat. I find your teleportation ability most disconcerting, considering that Madara had it too, Itachi commented, never showing any sign of such sentiment. I find it most amusing. He was very vain of his Manjikyu-based powers, and my father merely had to draw a seal formula to replicate it. I perfected it according to his designs, and here we are. Naruto smirked, enjoying the fact he was lying through his teeth and no one could tell. Wasn't there supposed to be a seal to mark your arrival point? Itachi asked, this time not feigning his curiosity. That is still necessary, but my range around it has been vastly increased. My father had seen the limitation of the original seal and worked hard to remove it. He made some progress, but he died too soon to finish it. I did that, but I'm still tied to the seal, only my range has been improved. Impressive. I will ask you to not interfere in this battle. I intend to test my brother immensely. Naruto shrugged. Do as you wish, just remember our deal. Sasuke lives, but you steal his eyes. I'll seal the wounds so that no one can shove more Sharingans, and when all is done I'll get his eyes back. For a spy, you're awfully good at acting, Naruto. It's quite possible you will never be able to prove your innocence, Itachi noted, feeling suspicious in the depths of his mind. I have taken that into consideration. It's a small price to pay for what must be done. I think I don't need lectures from a man who killed his whole family on orders and now will mutilate his beloved brother. How do you intend to stop pain? In a few weeks he will have all of the Biju. I thought you'd have realized my plan by now, Naruto smirked. Itachi paused momentarily, thinking hard. You can't beat pain fast enough to. Itachi went still for a few moments as his mind worked furiously. He smiled in the end. I see you're going to steal the Biju with the oration. I assume you have already placed seals on it for transportation. I have, but not these. I had to mark the statue with special formulas that will remove the bond between pain and the statue, as he can summon it to his location at will. I will send it via Hiraishin in the orbit where no one will be able to reach it. Itachi was stunned. In the orbit? How will you place your seal there? Naruto chuckled in response. I've already done that. I simply used Hiraishin to send two metal plates with Hiraishin's formula placed in between them to be protected from the cold and vacuum. It is possible to send an object remotely with that jutsu. A small object like that. I just happened to have enough chakra for it when in the Sage mode. Impressive, Itachi admitted, mentally marking the fact that Naruto could use Jiraiya's strongest skill. The Sage mode was something he never saw, but the rumors were that it made him at least a few dozen times stronger, which was something terrifying to contemplate. Jiraiya was already a Kage level in his normal state. Naruto was probably even better. What will happen to the statue once it's up there? I will detonate it. The blast will be terrible, but no one will be harmed by it. The Biju will eventually reform on the surface, hopefully. What if they return to the moon? The Jubipa Madara was an idiot. No matter how strong Rakuto Sennin was, he couldn't create the moon. Do you know how massive that thing is? It's only 6 times smaller than our world. We're talking about a mass inconceivable to a human mind. Besides the abstract general number and numerous zeros trailing after it, no Jubi is now 9 beasts that have no desire to lose their individuality, a gift of separate intelligence by the sage. He was a clever bastard, all right. He gave them true consciousness out of his own, and that ensured they would want to stay separate. How did you figure that out? Itachi asked with some surprise. Naruto shrugged. It was obvious. You have heard the legend of the mad priest who infected Shikaku with madness when he merged their spirits. I see, that makes sense. The legend was old, but some truth was hidden in it. Itachi Realized forced to admit that Naruto's thoughts might be truer than Madara's. I gotta go, Sasuke is coming, Naruto said and vanished without trace. Itachi immediately fell into his cruel, uncaring persona, ready to face Sasuke and make sure that his clan was resurrected and its tainted history cleansed once and for all. Maybe Naruto will agree to killing Koharu and Hamura and those few among the root, to ensure the real fresh start for his brother Uchiha. Sasuke paused at the entrance to the temple, momentarily struck by the weight of the moment that was upon him. Another step and he would be standing in front of the man who took everything from him, even himself. The massacre, the sight of his dead parents, they were terrible, but the worst was the fact that Itachi was the culprit, that he never loved him back. Sasuke worshipped his older brother who made him feel appreciated in ways his father never had. It was Itachi who was there when he started to crawl and walk, when he said his first word. Itachi taught him his first hand sign, his first kata, and then he made it all a lie. He should have seen it coming, because Itachi was less and less present in his life as he grew older, until the first year in the Ninja Academy. Itachi was practically just a guest at their home, a kind but aloof cool cousin who had no time for even a simple kunai practice with him. He was most likely already well set in his intent to ruin everything, so he didn't even bother to pretend so much anymore. But Sasuke still had to hear the full explanation, so he set his shoulders straight and walked in. Itachi, Sasuke said coldly to the man sitting leisurely on the stone chair across the circular chamber. The walls were smooth, empty, oval. Only behind Itachi were painted the Uchiha fan and strange drawings of what seemed like stylized tails or tomo of the Sharingan. I see you still lack the same eyes as mine, foolish brother, Itachi replied, mentally cataloging everything about Sasuke. His younger brother seemed very strong. Now he could feel his potent chakra. His Sharingan was fully matured as well. And look, Sasuke favored their mother. I would never stoop that low, Sasuke answered. I am strong enough to win my battles as I am. Before we begin, I want a real reason for what you did. I'm sure Danzo didn't know all your thoughts, no matter what he believed. Itachi gave a cold smile. I see. Well, I suppose it won't matter anyway. As you guessed, I had an ulterior motive. You were aware that Madara was alive until recently, Sasuke nodded. Itachi closed his eyes for a moment and smiled. It was his plan, and I went along with it. I wasn't as keen on it, but then I came to realize that our clan deserved to be destroyed, even if not for Madara's wounded pride. Sasuke stared in dumbfounded shock. Itachi noticed it. It's hard to believe that. Yes, let me explain then, little brother, so that you may fully grasp how low our blood has fallen. I know you are aware of the Manjikyu, and how to obtain it. I sent you to that secret shrine so that you may understand the curse of the Uchiha legacy curse. I don't understand, Sasuke growled. I will explain. You see, I lied when I told you that you would be only the third to obtain the Manjikyu. If you succeeded in getting to that level, there were others meticulously hidden from open scrutiny by our elders. The first two were Uchiha Azuna and his brother Madara. I know you know of the ill effects of the Manjikyu. I also know of the way to escape them, Sasuke interjected with angry glare. That was your intent in the first place, to steal my eyes. So Danzo informed you of that. He was well aware of our secrets, it seemed, Itachi commented, but that didn't faze him at all. Yes, Madara stole Azuna's eyes and grew even more powerful. He claimed that Azuna gave them freely, but why did he die shortly after? As it turned out, the rest of the clan begun slowly fear him, and after the first Hokage was chosen, they shunned Madara openly, for he was trying to make them take up arms against the so-called Senju conspiracy to subjugate the Uchiha. It was madness, and he was forced to leave. Later he lost his last battle against his eternal rival, but he wasn't forgotten, little brother. His dark deeds left a mark upon our clan, the dark desire for more power at any cost. We have never known of the Manjikyu until he came, and of the eternal Manjikyu we haven't even dreamed, but after him we did do so. Sasuke wasn't slow to pick up on that hint. There were other attempts to replicate his feats. Yes, a number of our beloved cousins attempted to slay their best friends to gain more power that way. There were never straight records on some of the accidents that occurred through the years, but I found some suspicious cases that were never investigated fully. There was some advantage in the fact that the Uchiha were sole members of the police force, and then some Uchiha were found dead in certain cases, with the clan actively obscuring any evidence. Those were the ones who tried to do the forbidden and were punished for it. Some were spared to be used as weapons during the wars. Their eyes lost their light after a time. Those were the ones with no siblings to avoid their fate. So you see, our clan was rife with betrayal and lust for power, and I chose to end it once and for all. How can you say that when you killed everyone? Where's your excuse? Sasuke demanded. Like I said, I erased them from existence in order to have a fresh start. Danzo was a clear proof that our darkest traits were being exposed to the outsiders. I let him believe I was as evil as the rest of us. I used him, and here we are. I will remake the clan in my own image, as Madara did once. Itachi dropped the bombshell upon his beloved sibling, dangerously getting close to full admission of his sins. I have decided to give you a chance to do the same, to start over. If you can beat me, only the stronger of us can do this. That is the purpose of our meeting here, and now I expect a good fight. Brother Sasuke fought the bile in his throat. His brother was insane. What happened to you to make you so cold? You killed our mother for Kami's sake. What did she do? Took away your favorite toy. Itachi gave him a sad stare. I was hoping you'd never ask that. While our father only wanted us as clan's best warriors, our mother cared for us in her own way. Have you ever wondered why she stopped being a ninja to take care of us? Sasuke said, automatically dreading the next words from his brother. Itachi was crazy, and that included the ability to spill truth without a care for the consequences. That was when we were younger, but she could have easily left us to be watched by our aunts and uncles. The clan takes care of their own, you know that. No. She had a dark secret that I worked hard at unraveling ever since the Kyuubi attack. You were 5 then, Sasuke stated in disbelief. Yes, I know. I was already old enough to watch you while our parents did the stuff they had to. That night our mother was not with us, and I always wondered what was she doing. I took the answer from her head before she died. Tsukiyomi is a useful tool for such purposes. Sasuke shook with rage. Itachi used that abominable jutsu on their mother. Itachi waited till his brother calmed down, but he released. It was good. He was telling him this. Sasuke would grow only more determined to fight him afterwards. It was very disappointing in my opinion. In the end our mother was as tainted as the rest. What? Sasuke asked in confusion. It's really disgusting. She used to best friends with Uzumaki Kushina, Naruto's mother. She also loved being kunoichi, but she had to marry our father, for it was arranged by our grandparents. It was a good match obviously, since she birthed me and you, and were obviously more talented than most Uchiha in the last 50 years. Are you getting it now? No, it's not possible. Sasuke denied vehemently. Mom would never. But she had. Itachi snapped sharply, cutting Sasuke off. She betrayed her best friend that night to Madara, who needed to know when she would be giving birth to Naruto, because Uzumaki Kushina was the previous container of Kyuubi. He used her weakness at that time, took Naruto hostage to distract the fourth and steal her away. He ripped the fox out of her as our mother watched from distance. Then he sicked the fox at Konoha, but the fourth overpowered him and saved the village. I don't believe you, Sasuke yelled. I don't care, it's true. Our beloved mother had these eyes and soon realized she was losing sight. That's when she realized she had no siblings to steal new eyes from, so she stopped using chakra altogether and became that stern but loving woman we knew. It was the ultimate end of her. Deserved be the strongest kunoichi in Konoha. She loved fighting like so many of us. You said that the clan punished those who gained the Manjikyu. Why was she left alone? Sasuke asked, thinking fast to refute Itachi's claims. Everybody knew of their friendship, and when the news came our mother openly grieved. That's when she presented her eyes, and everybody believed it was just an accidental reaction of grief, of true remorse, and father vouched for her, so she was left alone. Itachi explained, when I killed Shisui I gained these eyes because I truly cared about him, but Shisui knew me too well and was onto me. I had no choice but to defend myself. When he came to arrest me I had to do what I was planning, no matter what. I won't forgive you, Itachi, Sasuke yelled, his body shaking with rage. You are insane, and I will end your existence. Let's see if you really can, Itachi murmured, ignoring the blade protruding from his chest. It was just genjutsu within genjutsu, the first test of his brother's prowess. Itachi sure can spin a tail. Naruto chuckled as he observed the fight through the force, mentally projecting his vision from afar. He didn't care if it was true what Itachi said about his mother. It was something that had no actual bearing on the current situation. Sasuke screamed in rage as he felt Tsukiyomi trap him as Itachi begun torturing him with various all too real methods. Then something snapped within him, a cold but immense intent to crush and destroy, and Tsukiyomi fell apart. He was almost ready to collapse from the intense pain still lingering like ghosts of torture still clinging to his limbs, and he watched as Itachi also stopped to gain breath. His left eye was bleeding. Most impressive, Sasuke. You broke Tsukiyomi. You are strong, but I see you had some help. Sasuke looked at his shoulder slightly and saw a leathery limb protruding from his upper right back, a monstrous wing hand appendage whose clawed tips tried to hurt Itachi. His cursed seal reacted to his distress and he partially transformed. He willed the thing to go away and glared at Itachi. It's just a tool in my arsenal, nothing more. He sent a massive array of weapons at Itachi, pulling them from hidden storage seals on his wrists, an idea he got from Tenten, and watched as Itachi blocked each one. He smirked and pulled on the wires and renewed the attack, using his lightning chakra to make the various weapons much deadlier than before. But Itachi already had a Kage Bunshin emerging behind him, using a powerful Katan burst to deflect the attack, while the Real Itachi escaped using his considerable speed to attack Sasuke from close-up. Sasuke managed to keep up, grateful for all the physical conditioning Danzo forced on him. The bastard was a good teacher. He ripped off many of Guy's methods, no matter how ridiculous they seemed. Sasuke wanted to use lightning chakra on his sword to increase its cutting power, but that was a waste of energy. Danzo didn't tolerate Itachi wasn't enhancing his kunai, so why should he do that for his sword? Sasuke swung expertly his Chikudo in short dizzying arcs using his larger range to keep Itachi at bay. Itachi was skilled with his kunai and managed to keep him away. Sasuke was on constant guard against his Genjutsu, already dispelling 2 subtle attempts to make his perceptions askew. He attacked harder, pressing with his Chikudo and stab hack pattern until his hand was just a blur. Itachi had to retreat using space around him to evade the onslaught. Then, he caught the tip of Chikudo between his kunai and lifted it aside. Aiming a sidekick to Sasuke's knee, Sasuke activated his Chidori current and lightning coursed through him and arced in wide sphere around his body, hitting Itachi hard. Sasuke suddenly rolled, avoiding an attack from behind, while Itachi in front of him faded into nothingness, signaling the end of that Genjutsu. He glared hatefully at his older brother. "I can see through your illusions, brother. Stop underestimating me." Itachi gave him a cold stare. "This isn't a contest, Sasuke. I will not go easy on you. You still haven't learned what it takes to be the best." Sasuke retaliated with a barrage of Chidori Senbon. Itachi had to run at top speed to evade them. The Senbon made dozens of tiny holes in the wall of the temple. Sasuke saw where Itachi might go and raised his Chikudo, producing a Chidori blade several meters long. Itachi used Kawarimi with a piece of debris to avoid getting cut in half, but Sasuke waved his chakra weapon after Itachi, making considerable damage to the temple in process. Itachi's counter-attack came swiftly in the form of exploding tags, a whole lot of them. The explosion shook the chamber. Smoke and stone obscured Sasuke's form. Itachi waited patiently, inwardly pleased with his brother's performance so far. That modification of Kakashi's jutsu was impressive by anyone's standards. He glared at the sight of massive serpents encircling his brother. Orochimaru was in him still. It explained how strong his brother was. Perhaps it was good that pain healed him. His chakra was still strong. Orochimaru had to go. Naruto found his interest increasing as the fight developed. Sasuke had some nice moves, although still utterly inferior to his own. His overall power was much less than his. Even without the force, Orochimaru's chakra apparently also gave Sasuke access to Orochimaru's snake contract. Sasuke waited on the roof of the temple, expecting that his brother would follow as Itachi blurred through Sasuke's Kage Bunshin, lanced him with a lightning jutsu, dispelling the clone, but that clone exploded, distracting Sasuke for a moment, and Itachi was now with him, already breathing out a truly powerful grand fireball. Sasuke responded in kind while drawing on the seal and hating himself for it. Itachi was so strong, but satisfaction came to him when his jutsu begun overpowering Itachi's. He sensed something and shunshined away, narrowly evading the fire that swallowed his own when he ceased his jutsu to avoid a Sakan clone that climbed the dome from the outside. Itachi already planned this. Luckily, Sasuke was truly a master of Shunshin no Jutsu. Sasuke scowled and summoned a few gigantic snakes big enough to eat a man in one swallow, and they swiftly attacked Itachi, moving too fast for most ninja. Itachi wasn't one of them and used several powerful earth jutsu to dispel them. Sasuke already hid himself below the dome and used a multiple fire dragon attack, creating many devastating attacks that exploded from below. In the attempt to catch Itachi by luck, Itachi dodged and waited. Sasuke cut loose and summoned a truly huge triple-headed serpent that annihilated the dome and forced Itachi to retreat. "Eat him!" Sasuke screamed angrily, whipping his Chikudo angrily in Itachi's direction. The serpents obeyed, slamming down on the dome, causing further devastation as Itachi desperately evaded them, and Sasuke, who was using his Chidori sword to shield the flank and the rear end of his summon, Itachi fell back down to the floor of the temple, which was now open to the sky, and shot a stream of black fire on the snake and Sasuke. The fire caught them quickly, and the summon was soon gone, dead for certain. Since Amaterasu fire burned for 7 days and 7 nights, he ceased his attack and ignored the half-burnt remains of his brother. He had recognized Orochimaru's skin-shedding technique. Sasuke used it well. He found Sasuke rushing him from behind, his Chidori blazing angrily. Itachi blocked his thrust with skilled redirection of momentum as he swung Sasuke single-handed over his head and into the hard stone ground. With a mighty slamming sound, the stone broke under the force. Itachi's eyes widened in alarm as Sasuke's body erupted in lightning explosion. Sasuke walked cautiously from behind a large piece of dome and found Itachi cradling his left arm. "Hey, you didn't escape that fully." Itachi nodded. "It was a clever move to use a lightning clone, although it cost you half of your chakra. I take it Kakashi taught you that one." "I never saw it before. It fooled my Sharingan because your chakra is lightning-natured and it's hard to see through the layer of lightning chakra, but I'm always careful." The thunder boomed in the sky that was gray, filled with rolling lightning-filled clouds. Sasuke snarled in anger and shunshined above, while Itachi followed at a slower rate to let his arm recover. He couldn't use hand seals at the moment, but he still had a decent amount of chakra, while Sasuke spent a great deal of his own. He found His brother at the very top of the temple standing tall and defiant on the monolith that topped the dome as if trying to reach heavens. I have fired those fire dragons with a purpose. Itachi witnessed my ultimate creation. Sasuke roared and raised his hands glowing with the white-blue corona of two Chidorus. Behold the wrath of the nature Kirin. Itachi reacted instantly as his Sharingans morphed again into Manjikyu form, and he whispered Susanoo. Naruto whistled in amazement. Sasuke sure pulled out all stops. He muzzled the lightning itself, a force of nature strong enough to power a small city for a year. Now that was something worth seeing and learning. Why don't you just die already? Sasuke screamed angrily when he saw Itachi was alive and shielded by some sort of red energy looking like ethereal skeleton. I'm sorry Sasuke, but this is as far as you will push me. I commend your power and skill. I haven't used this jutsu on anyone so far, but Susanoo is an impenetrable defense, a result of two Manjikyu Sharingan working together, Itachi explained, and begun walking towards his brother. Eat this! Sasuke screamed in turn and raised his hands, and lightning obeyed him again. I have enough chakra to do this again. The lightning descended again, wreathing like a living beast above Sasuke and falling upon the red figure, creating a flash of white that blinded both warriors. The noise and minor earthshakes ensued, showing the true might of the attack, but Itachi kept moving after each strike, his ethereal guardian becoming more fleshy until it became a warrior spirit holding a shield and a sake bottle at his hip. Sasuke tried with numerous explosive notes, but to no avail. I win Sasuke, Itachi said while slowly moving closer, making the younger Uchiha panic. Your eyes are mine. Sasuke froze at those words, looking for a way to escape. He needed more chakra, so he drew upon Orochimaru's gift, beginning his transformation, which was quick. His hair lengthened into a gray mane, his hand-like wings erupted from his hard and darkened skin, his nails became short claws. He fired a massive fireball at Itachi, but Susanoo was impenetrable. Sasuke jumped away but had to stop his escape as Itachi cornered him with Amaterasu, cutting off his escape with a wall of black flames that burned all around them. And then Sasuke fell on his knees and cried out. Orochimaru finally set himself free. Itachi felt tired already after pulling out Amaterasu again while holding Susanoo active. His cells were burning with intense pain, and he knew he had a short time to finish the fight. The whole show was worth it. Orochimaru was out now. He watched with disgust as the snake Sannin appeared in the mouth of one of his multiple Hydra summons, gleefully intending to steal his brother's body. He ended the fool's ambition with a single thrust of his ultimate attack, the legendary Totsuka sword that sealed its victims in a realm of eternal dreams, a fitting end for Orochimaru, who always dreamed of power and immortality. He'd have the second. In a way, Naruto stared in surprise, his true sight still locked on the area far eye, making him seem comatose. He had just witnessed a surprising turn of events. Orochimaru got free from Sasuke only to fall to Itachi's strange sword. The idiocy that Orochimaru displayed shocked him. He should have run away and count himself lucky for surviving, but no, he had to stick to his desire to possess the Sharingan. See where it lead him. It all happened too fast, otherwise he'd have jumped Orochimaru and sucked his brains dry to steal his jutsu. Oh well, he could do without them anyway. Orochimaru was too disgusting even to him. It was time to finish this. Sasuke scrambled away from his brother, barely having any strength left, but the hungry look in Itachi's eyes left no doubt about the ultimate end of this fight. He never saw a foot that hit his head and sent him into La La Land. Was that really necessary? Itachi frowned, relaxing as he saw it was Naruto. Oh, would you rather take his eyes while he's awake? Naruto asked with some amusement visible on his face. Itachi shook his head and he nodded. It'll be quick, he will never feel pain. Naruto decided to avoid any troubles and used the force to make Sasuke deep asleep and cut off his sensation of hurt, and then he let Itachi do the actual removal of Sasuke's eyes. He just forcibly healed his empty sockets using the dark side for that, which was far from pleasant. The dark side could be used for such things, but it wasn't as effective as the light side healing. It was also often required that the healing itself was meant for some cruel purpose to work. A couple of sealing tags later, Sasuke's eyes were properly sealed from any tampering without his permission. Naruto created a single Kage Bunshin, who immediately took Sasuke back to Konoha. The real Naruto took Itachi away, but not straight to the Akatsuki base. He had to keep his teleportation a secret. Kakashi, someone yelled, and the silver-haired Jounin looked away from the memorial stone he was staring at for the last few hours, trying to think of a way to fix his mistakes about Naruto. Kakashi was utterly crushed by the realization that the son of the man he considered his greatest hero and second father was now a missing nin with a grudge against Konoha as big as Orochimaru's or worse, and he was probably as powerful as that scum too. What is it? he asked the unknown Chunin, while feeling utterly drained of any will to respond. It's Uchiha-sama, you must come with me to The hospital, why would he be there? Kakashi felt dread. His eyes were removed and he is in very bad shape, as if he were in a battle. Hokage-sama is working on him personally. Kakashi vanished in a swirl of leaves, leaving the Chunin to pant from exhaustion as he was running at top speed to deliver the news to the famed Jounin. He really wanted to learn Shunshin.